The CEO of Binance saying the platform had seen more than $1 billion of net withdrawals, but he called that business as usual for us. Late yesterday, he tweeted, things seem to have stabilized. Yesterday was not the highest withdrawal day we processed, not even top 5. We processed more during Luna and the FTX crashes. Now deposits are coming back. He says also yesterday, Binance pausing withdrawals of USDC stablecoin due to what he called a token swap. By late morning, the company said that USDC withdrawals were back online. Joining us right now to talk about all of this is Circle CEO Jeremy Allaire. Circle is the company behind USDC. So let's say it straight up. How safe is USDC at this moment, Jeremy?
USDC is very safe. Anyone can go and look at the reserves. They can look at the serial numbers of the treasury bills, which are all 3 months or less, with a major accounting firm attestation. And actually, the majority of that reserve, you can now look on a daily basis at those QSIPs through the government money fund we set up with BlackRock to manage those reserves. So it is very safe. It is regulated. It is why we've seen a huge surge in USDC net issuance over the past 24 hours, increasing almost $2.5 billion, while Binance USD declined by over $3 billion. So we've certainly seen.
Help me with this. USDC, everyone talks about it being one-to-one, and yet, obviously, there's some firms that have been paying huge and very high interest rates on that. And the question, of course, is how are they doing that?
Well, the key thing to remember is if you go to a bank and you give a bank $1 million, they then actually take that $1 million and lend it 8 times over to other people. So you have a demand deposit, but actually it's been lent out, and that's where they're generating the interest that they'll pay you, or whatever that interest might be, commercial finance, what have you. People who take stable coins as deposits, these so-called crypto banks like the bankrupt Voyager, Celsius, BlockFi, people could provide them stable coins. The stable coins themselves are all full reserve, regulated electronic money instruments in the U.S., but then they were relending those out to people who were high-risk hedge funds or others, and as we've learned, extraordinarily weak controls or risk management or leverage or other things. So essentially, they were taking that full reserve dollar form of money and lending it to people who were then off, taking extraordinary risk with it and couldn't return that stablecoin back to that lender.
Straight up, this may be, I don't know if this is a difficult question for you to answer or not. If you had money on Binance, would you leave it there?
It's a really interesting question. I think like right now, it's a moment where everyone is trying to ask, what are safe places to hold your crypto? There's obviously the be your own bank, store your own digital assets, keep your own keys, and that will certainly work for some people. I think increasingly people want to see regulated firms that have major global accounting firms that are providing public company levels of audit. This is why it's so important for more companies to become SEC registered and regulated companies.
What is the Allaire family doing? Are you all in cold storage, or are you living on a Binance or some other kind of platform? Coinbase here in the US?
What I can say is the Allaire family has a mixture of cold storage and qualified regulated custodians that are regulated inside the United States. Right. And so that's my view on that.
Finally, weigh in on this, because we were just talking to Jim Cramer, you probably heard us, about the political donations that have been made to so many during this process. Do you hold them accountable for this?
Specific politicians or what have you. I heard your comment about whether is it their job to detect the fraud. I think there is an interesting question here, which is, the disconnect between a firm that so clearly was operating an offshore platform that, by any comparison to American policy rules, was doing a lot of really difficult things, and reconciling that with the kind of positioning that they had in Washington. So I think more skepticism was certainly warranted. And so I think there is a little bit of looking oneself in the mirror on that.